Hey guys, it's Asha and today's video is going to be my university experience. So I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about what to expect from uni if you're just about to start, or you're thinking of starting, or even if you already go to uni. I've kind of tried to gauge this video around stuff that I would have found really helpful when I first started out with uni. So I'm going to be talking about things like gap years, college, student accommodation, friends at uni, what to expect from classes and lectures, how uni differs to high school. So if you find this video helpful, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. And I also have another study video on my channel where I talk about study tips for university in particular. So I'll link that on the screen now if you want to check that out as well. So firstly, a little bit about my course. I am just about to go into my fourth and final year. It's a little bit complicated at Queensland University of Technology, and I do a double degree in business and creative industry. So they are two separate courses. So that means I have a major for each of my degrees. So for business, I major in marketing, and then for creative industries, I major in fashion. But you can also major in things like advertising, accounting, management for the business side, or for the creative industry side, you can major in things like art, film, music, dance. But I chose marketing and fashion because those are both things that I'm really interested in. And I think that's an important thing to remember, is to always study something that you really enjoy. If you are going to university every single day and you're studying something that you hate, it's going to be painful. In saying that though, every degree is always going to have something that you don't enjoy about it, particularly core subjects. So like some of my business core subjects, they're not my favorite. When you do like a degree, you have all the core subject for that particular degree, and then you also do electives for your particular major. If I look like sweaty, it's because I am. It's so hot in here. For my business degree, some of the core subjects are accounting, management, global business, data analysis. I mean, if you enjoy them, that's great, but they're not really my favorite. But then once you finish all your core subjects, you get to do subjects relative to your major. So my major is accounting. God, no, my major is not accounting. I would probably die. I hate accounting. No offense accounting, but I really just not my thing at all. My major is marketing. At the beginning of last year, I started to do more marketing related subjects, and you do things like consumer behavior or the business of marketing. So yeah, make sure that you give your degree a chance. Don't go in first semester and then be like, I hate this, I'm quitting uni. I think you definitely need to give your degree probably about a year, well, for most parts, before you decide whether or not you want to study something else. If you have decided, you know, I've given this a go and I really hate this, I don't want to study this anymore, then that is completely okay. In my high school friends group, I think I'm one of the only ones who's still studying the exact same thing. And that's because people change their mind. And I guess I was just really lucky that I chose something that I did like at the time and that I really like now. A lot of my friends are studying completely different things or aren't studying at all. University isn't for everybody, and I don't think that's a bad thing. You don't need to go to uni to be successful. I think one of the things to understand is that uni is always going to be there. It's always going to be an option that you have. So if there is something else that comes up that's amazing and you get an opportunity that's once in a lifetime, then I would 100% say do that, because you can always go back to uni if you want to. And that brings me on to my topic of gap years. So would I recommend taking a gap year? Yes, definitely 100%. I did not take a gap year, and that was because firstly, I knew what I wanted to study, but I don't think that's the case for everybody. And if it isn't the case for you, then I think that's completely okay. Take a gap year, go traveling or work, and just figure out what you want to do with your life. You're better off doing that than going into a degree that you have no idea about and you just choose something because you don't know what else to do. Like I said, I didn't take a gap year, but I do wish I did, even though I knew what I wanted to study. Because when you're studying for so long, like all through primary school, all through high school, straight into university, you get sick of doing assignments and studying for exams. Let me tell you now, firsthand, it happened to me. Last year, first semester last year, I was just over it. I enjoyed what I was studying, but I was just overdoing assignments. I was overdoing exams and being in the same routine for such a long time. So I decided to take a semester off and go overseas for 3 months to Europe with one of my friends, and I do not regret it at all. But had I done that at the beginning, had I taken a gap year, then I probably would have been able to travel for a longer amount of time. I probably would have been able to travel for like 7 months instead of 3 months. Okay, so how does university differ from high school? University is very, very different from high school, and I think the number one thing that makes it different is that teachers aren't breathing down your neck constantly. It's up to you to succeed and not other people to push you to succeed. If you don't do an assignment, there's not going to be a teacher there going, hand in your draft, do this, blah blah blah. It is completely up to you to turn up to lectures, to turn up to classes, to hand in your assignment. So that's why it's really, really important to stay organized. Like, it is so easy at university to just not remember that you have an assignment due, and then 3 days before be like, oh my god, I have an assignment due in 3 days and I haven't started it. How does the university system work? I assume it would be different in other parts of the world, but in Australia, I think this is pretty much how the uni system works, especially in Queensland. So every semester, if you're a full-time student, you do 4 units, and units are classes essentially. And then for each one of your classes that you do, you get credit points that go towards your degree. Every unit, I'm pretty sure, or most units are 12 credit points, and they go towards your degree. So at the end of your degree, you have to have a certain amount of credit points to graduate. You do 4 units. For me, I do 2 from each of my different degrees, and then in those units you have different types of subjects. So 3 main kind of, I don't know how to explain it, like classes that you have within a unit are lectures, tutorials, and workshops. You don't have workshops for all of your units. I think workshops are more for more creative subjects. In terms of lectures and tutorials, those are the main things that you're going to be doing. So a lecture is basically where you just sit in this massive theatre. It can range from, like, I think I've had lectures with 50 people in it up to lectures with like 500 people in it. So you sit in this massive theatre, which is kind of like a cinema, I guess, and there's a massive screen, and there's a lecturer at the front, and they go through the slides and just tell you about a topic. And usually you take notes on your laptop or on a piece of paper or something. And usually how it works is the lecture that you learn about is the topic for the tutorial for that subject. Tutorial is just, it's kind of like a class. Like, you get a more hands-on version learning about the subject. So you'll be in a class of like 25, 30 people, and you'll have a tutor, and they'll have slides, but they'll like ask you questions, and it'll be more one-on-one. And then in your tutorials, that's where you'll learn about your assignment. So I don't know if it's different for other degrees, but for my degree, for fashion and business, usually in each unit you have 3 usually pieces of assessment for that semester, whether it be 2 assignments and an exam, or 2 exams, an assignment, maybe 3 exams, although I would absolutely hate that. You don't get a lot of time in class to work on assignments. Like, I know when I was in high school, you'd have like dedicated time in the class to work on an assignment, but it's not like that in uni at all. When you're in class, you're learning about like the lecture topic usually, so you won't have any time to work on your assessment, so you have to do that at home in your own time, and that's why it's really, really important to stay organized. At the end of each semester, you'll be given a GPA, which is a grade point average. They basically combine all of your assessment marks to give you an average, and it's kind of important to keep that average up because, one, if you want to do exchange, you'll be more likely to get accepted into exchange, and then when you graduate, it's just a really good thing to have a high grade point average for when you're going and handing out your resume to different jobs that you want to look at. Okay, so the next topic is like student accommodation and college. So firstly, I'm going to talk about college. I did not go to college, and just to kind of clear up, if you are watching from overseas, I know that in America, college has a different definition, and same within the UK, but in Australia, college is where you live on campus, like in dorms with other students. You live on campus at the university. I did not go to college. Firstly, college is pretty expensive. I remember one of my friends was at college, and I think she was paying like $450 a week, and she got like a room, well, I was gonna say the size that I'm in right now, but you guys can't even see what the size of my room is. But yeah, she was in a pretty small room, and like it included food, and obviously you're on campus, so it's like good because you're close to uni, but at the same time $450 a week is pretty expensive just to have a room to stay in. You do get to go to like college events, and I think you meet a lot of people, so maybe if you're coming from interstate or something, you don't know anybody in the city, then going to college for a semester or for a year would be a really good idea to meet people. But I did not go to college, firstly because it was really expensive, and secondly because I had friends from high school that were moving down, so we were going into a house together, so we decided let's just get a house together, it's going to be more cheap. And I'm just about to move back to Brisbane with 3 of my friends, and we probably pay like, in Brisbane, I know it's way more expensive in Sydney and Melbourne, but I think the average you pay for like a room in Brisbane is probably like $150 to $180 a week. And yeah, you get a whole house. Yeah, I don't personally feel like I missed out on anything not going to college. Living at home with friends is so much fun, like having a house with your friends in it and just like having people come over on the weekend, like going out is so much fun. So last topic is friends, and like I just said, if you don't know anybody in the city, then going to college is probably going to be a good idea if you are wanting to make friends. But I was lucky enough that when I moved down to Brisbane, I probably had about 15, maybe more of my friends who'd moved from the Sunshine Coast down to Brisbane. I also had one friend who I'm still really good friends with who studies the exact same thing as me, so we had classes together already. If you do meet somebody that you really like and you want to be good friends with, one of my #1 recommendations would be to do all your classes together. My friend Georgia, who I went to high school, who I mentioned before, studies the exact same thing as me. We do all our classes together, and we started doing that last semester. We weren't doing it the semester before, but it made such a difference to like my concentration levels, the amount of times when I went to uni, because there was another person there who was relying on me to show up to class and to do assignments and stuff like that. One really good way to make friends at uni is through group assignments. You're probably gonna do group assignments in pretty much every unit that you do. I think that is everything that I have to say. I know this video was like a little bit different to my high school experience video where I'm like, this is what happened in first year, second year, blah blah, but honestly it's uni, like I said, it's not the same as high school, and these are kind of just things that I hope you guys find helpful. Hopefully you've gained some insight into what to expect from uni. If you do have any more questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll reply to you guys on anything that you want to know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out my study tips video because it's more related to study in particular and not just university as a whole. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!